Hello, it's Lindsay with Dearlyndsey, and welcome back to my channel. My channel. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button in this corner over here, along with the bell to be notified when I post new videos like this one. So, in today's video, I am sharing with you guys a recipe. It is Biscuit Beef Casserole. It is something my mother-in-law makes, and my husband absolutely loves it, and so do the kids. So we made that this week, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I go over what you need, and this will be my very first ever voiceover video, so hopefully it works out. But it is a very easy to make meal. It is budget friendly, and instead of shredded cheese, you can always do sliced cheese. I just had shredded cheese on hand. And of course, instead of the big cans of biscuits, it normally calls for like the 4-pack of little cans, but 2 cans of the little ones. But my store didn't have it thanks to the quarantine. Everybody wants some biscuits. So, it is so easy, and it's really good. It's definitely a comfort food. So let's get into it. And if you make it, let me know how you like it.
Okay, so I'm making biscuit beef casserole for dinner tonight. You will need cheese. You will need hamburger meat, Worcestershire sauce, biscuits. Normally you get the small canned biscuits, but since quarantine, they did not have them. I grabbed big biscuits. Brown sugar, 2 cans of pork and beans, and some ketchup. And then you will need like a cake pan because it's gonna be a casserole. You don't need this much cheese. I will go over how much to put in when we put it together. And I'm about to thaw out my hamburger meat, so. Okay, so here I am just adding some Tony's to the meat while it's browning. And then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic salt to the meat. Then I add a little bit of black pepper to the meat. Then after I get the black pepper, I grab some salt and add a sprinkle or 2 of salt to my ground meat. And after that, I just let it brown for a little bit until it's done. Once your meat is brown, you're going to want to drain it if you had a fatty content meat. Mine had just a little bit, so I just drained the meat before I moved on to the next few steps. Okay, here I opened both cans of pork and beans. I will be adding these to the cake pan that I'm making my casserole in. And then I will be adding the rest of the ingredients. I don't have exact measurements for the brown sugar or the ketchup or the Worcestershire sauce.
if that's even how you pronounce it. But I just kind of add in until I feel like it tastes good. You want it sweet but not overpowering, but you can always add more in if you would like it a little sweeter. I like mine in between, so I just put a little bit of brown sugar, and then I add a little bit of ketchup, and I realized I ran out of ketchup here. So that's all the ketchup I got to add to that. After that, I added in a few swishes of Worcestershire sauce, and then I mixed it all together. And after I mixed it, I gave it a little taste test to make sure that it was the consistency and the taste that I wanted, which for me, it's a little sweet, but also savory as well. And then after it's all mixed in, you just go ahead. Oh, I wanted to add a little bit more Worcestershire sauce because it wasn't tangy enough for me. And then you add your ground meat to the mixture and give it a good mix before you add your layer of biscuits to it. I personally try to make sure that all the hamburger meat is coated and covered with the sauce that is in the pan. And once all that is mixed together perfectly, there goes my taste test. And then I realize, oh, yep, that's perfect. So I decide to go ahead and grab my biscuits. I pulled out 2 big cans of biscuits, and I only ended up using 1 can of big biscuits. And I wouldn't suggest using big biscuits, especially the flaky ones. I'm sure normal biscuits would be fine, but with the flaky ones, they started to fall apart when I had to flip them over during the cooking process. But you can use a small can of biscuits, which is what this recipe normally calls for. And you just layer it over top, and then you bake it until your biscuits are done. After your biscuits are assembled, you are going to want to put them in the oven for 350 for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes were up, this is what my biscuits looked like. I decided to go ahead and flip them so that the underside could cook as well. And it was harder with the flaky biscuits because, of course, they wanted to rip into layers, which, again, I will not recommend making them with flaky biscuits. But, again, that's all I had at the store to grab. And then I cooked them. It took quite a bit for the biscuits to cook since they were the thicker biscuits. So it took probably a good 30 minutes to cook all together. I put them in for another 15 minutes after I flipped them. And it took at least 5 more minutes after that for them to fully cook. So just make sure that you cook them until the biscuits are done. Nobody likes doughy biscuits, and that's probably not really good for you either. So just make sure your biscuits are fully cooked before you add your cheese to the top of the biscuits. So there it is. After the biscuits have cooked for a while, I go ahead and add cheese to the top. Again, you can use sliced cheese on top of the casserole, or you can use shredded. I just had shredded on hand. So then I put a lot of cheese on there. We love some cheese. So I coated it very generously with cheese. You can add more or less cheese. That is totally up to you and your family's preference. But for us, we love some cheese. So I just generously coated it with cheese. And then I baked it again for another 5 to 6 minutes until the cheese was nice and bubbly and gooey and delicious looking.
Okay, so here is the final product out of the oven after the cheese is all melted. It looks absolutely delicious.
Here is what it looks like when I plated it, and it was very delicious. The family was very happy, and this is a budget-friendly meal, so I hope you check it out. Anyways, thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button to let me know that you like it, and I will see you guys in my next video.